Okay, camera's ready. We're ready to roll with offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner. Questions? Kelly?
I guess the question through the first part of the season here is just how do you get Haynes going earlier, get it more consistency drive to drive offensively? Kind of what are you seeing in some of the breakdowns there?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, a fair question. The biggest thing that we have to do offensively, all 11 guys have got to execute the day one stuff every play, right? That's what we talk about. Every play is independent of each other. Each play has a life of its own, and we've got to make sure that we're doing our job on every single play. And, if you watch the Wake game, especially the first, couple quarters, the first drive wasn't bad. But after that, it was everybody taking their turns, right? And obviously, you're the quarterback. You got to get everybody going. So this is something we've made a conscious effort to, try to get him going. And we've just been inconsistent, really as an entire offense when it comes to that. Is doing our job on each and every play.
Chad?
Have you noticed any trends or themes from opposing defenses? What sort of looks they're giving you guys trying to shut certain things?
There's definitely trends with the way people are playing, our quarterback run game, right? When I say quarterback run game, I'm talking the reads and the different things like that and the way people are playing their defensive ends. You definitely see trends. It's a copycat league, and, if people have success doing one thing or making him pull it or making the running back pull it, and that's what they want to do within the structure of their defense. Yes, we've seen a lot of carryover, and that's really some of the reason you've seen high carries by the quarterback position is really the way people are playing us. So the bye week comes at a great time for us, really to kind of reel some things in, really look at some things, take a look at other ways to affect the front. It's never really the back end that people change. It's usually the front, right? How are they going to play the front, especially with the way we like to run the football? So, we've seen some trends, and like I said, the bye week comes at a really good time for us.
Right.
There was a lot of talk before the game about how Wake Forest had 16 days to prepare for you. How big of an advantage was that, or was it an advantage for them? Well,
anytime you've got 16 days to prepare for somebody, it definitely gives you, an advantage. You just get more time, you get more reps, more time on task with the things that you're asking your defense to do, especially with the way that we try to put you in conflict, right? So is it an advantage? Yeah, but it's part of football, and, we never looked at it, that way. For us, like I said, the bye comes at the right time. And one thing that I think that we did a good job of is we were able to kind of fall back on past experience of last year going up to Louisville. They came out and played us in something completely different than we saw, going in the Louisville game, and didn't probably have the answers that we needed in that game. And we did have the answers that we needed this week going into the game, because there's a lot of similarities. They had a lot of time to prepare for us. We were coming into our fifth straight game on the road, noon kickoff, right? So there's a lot of different things that felt very similar to that game. And I think our past experience, we were able as a staff to kind of fall back on some things, and I think it helped us win the football game.
Patrick?
Coach Faulkner, 5 games in, can you give us a big picture assessment of your tight end group, their productivity, and what it looks like going forward for the rest of 2025 tight ends?
Yeah, I think the group done everything we asked them to do. We try to play multiple guys at that position. Brett Seiler was out this past week, so we're only able to play 3. They're not going to show up much in the stat sheet right now, but they allow us to do a lot of things that we want to do offensively with, the shifts, the formations, the different pictures, the way we want to block defensive ends, arc defensive ends, all those different things. Those guys are a huge part of what we do, and, we'll continue to use them the way we have been down the stretch. And like I said, right now they haven't shown up much in the stat sheet, although the other day there was 3 catches amongst the position, and you'd like that to be somewhere between 4 and 7 every week. And just really depends how the defense plays them. And, but they're a big part of it, big part of our offense.
David?
Hey, Buster, I know a lot of turnovers can kind of just come down to flukiness and bad luck. And if you probably look at the breadth of the ones that you guys have had, there's not a commonality between a lot of them. How do you go about addressing that without also kind of like letting it get in people's heads either? Like, how do you kind of sort of balance the approach of like, we got to limit these, but also don't go overthinking it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we've had several unforced turnovers, right? And you got to start with those because we could control those. Some of those happened with just ball exchange that had nothing to do with the defense, 2 of them. And then the other one early in the season was a forced throw or 2 forced throws that we probably didn't have to make. But, other than that, the one the other day is you're going to look at it as, hey, the running back put the ball on the ground, but, we actually we didn't work up to the guy we were supposed to be blocking, which gave that guy a great angle to put his hat on the ball. So one thing we talk about here is turnovers. It's not just one position. It's all 11, right, and how they affect the play. So it's something we make a conscious effort of even before we've turned it over. We hammer it every day, as much ball security. The ball is the program. Our guys know that. We've just got to do a better job of making a conscious effort to protect it.
Chad?
How can you get Jamal going a little bit better?
Yeah, that's goes back to what you had asked earlier, actually, the way people are playing us and that they're forcing the quarterback to run it more. Jamal is a guy that we have to get going for us to be explosive, and we know that. So that's why I mentioned that this bye week comes at a great time. I think he was a little banged up last week going into the game. Just not banged up, but tired. He's had a lot of carries. It's been a long, camp and 4 games, and we know that he's better when he's fresh, right? And you can kind of look at his history when he's fresh and fast. He's a lot more productive. So that's some of it. And then the other part is us designing things that can get him, in space. To get him going. We try to get him involved in the passing game as well, that can get him in space and, may not have as many carries. But the other day, I think he was 5 catches he had and give Wake Forest a lot of credit. They made a lot of open field tackles.
Alex?
How would you evaluate red zone offense so far? And kind of, like you said, teams playing the quarterback run a little tougher. How much tougher is that when teams are keying on Haynes in the red zone?
Without looking at the stats, I feel like it had been better than it was a year ago. The other day, it wasn't great. But overall, I think we've been better in that situation. I think we got more of an identity of what we want to do and how we want to attack it. I'd have to go back and look and make sure those numbers do add up. But, some of it we've gotten down there in certain situations, like at the end of the game, the other day, it's going to go down as not scoring a touchdown, but you're in a hurry and you got to line up and kick a field goal. The one that you'd like to have back is when we got down there and we ran a couple quarterback runs in a row. Knew he needed a breather, and tried to get to something and give them credit. They did a great job of playing it, and we didn't get we weren't able to stay ahead of the chains right there when we had the 3 straight runs. The ball was in the middle of the field, so we felt like we could get him in a certain front on the 3rd down, which we had gotten before and didn't get him in it. And, so if you're not trying to tie the game right there at that moment, maybe you go for it. But I think the right decision right there is to tie the game. We've come back. We've built it all the way back. So I thought we made the right call you kick the field goal there. And then, if that's earlier in the game, maybe we go for it and we're able to punch it in. But the way the kids that had battled back got us to that point, I thought it was very important that we go and tie the game, right? Because if you go for it and you don't get it, right, it's very deflating. So I just couldn't be more proud of the way the kids just fought. We didn't play our best game by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of things that we could control. Give Wake Forest a lot of credit. I thought they did a great job defensively. But one thing that we were able to do is our leadership kind of took over, and our fight, our grit, our toughness, all the things that Coach Key's, done since he's been the head coach here is you saw it on full display. And, that's a testament to all our kids.
Time for a couple more for Coach Faulkner. Go Chad and then Ron.
There are some packages available for Aaron to get in there moving forward this season?
Philo will be ready when his number's called. Philo's going to be an awesome quarterback. He can really throw the football, but Haynes King's he is the quarterback of this football team, and there's no debating that. So he'll be ready if his number's ever called.
Rob?
Talking about Jamal and, being a little tired, do you feel like Hosley's maybe ready to pick up a little bit more of the running back load?
I do, yeah. Malachi's been great. Actually, he woke up Saturday morning sick as a dog. So, we were kind of battling that throughout the game. DG came in, played some crucial snaps for us down the stretch, and that's just a guy that's been in the program that he was ready when his number's called. Got a late carry, hadn't had many carries here as his career, as far as when the game's on the line. And the game's on the line, he goes in, gets a good 5-yard run, did a good job on the next play. So feel really good about the running back room. Traylon Maddox was available last week but hadn't practiced as much as we would like, to get him in. So we're going to get healthy at the right time at that position.
Patrick, if you want to wrap this up.
Coach Faulkner, Isaiah Canyon play so far this year, good surprise or no surprise at all?
That's probably no surprise at all because we've seen it, and it's just whether he was going to, carry it into games, and we're excited about his future. I mean, the guy's getting better and better every week, and that's showing up on film. You guys can see that. His confidence is getting through the roof. He had the one drop the other day, but he plays so fast to be, and he's big. He's a guy that we need to continue to play at the level that he's playing at, and then even take it a step further. And thing about Isaiah is he's ultra competitive and wants to be better, wants to be coached, loves getting coached hard. He's getting better at practice every day. We're just, we're fortunate we have him.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you.
Y'all have a good one. See y'all in the spring.